Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. It's a wild story. This is taking over all of sports right now. Yep, Sherrone Moore has been jailed. It's a big, giant mess at Michigan. We're going to get into that in a minute. We're also going to talk about possible replacements. Dave Portnoy has chimed in. And the reason I'm going to show what he had to say about it as far as replacements is that he's a huge donor there. And he played a big role in bringing Bryce Underwood, the $11 million quarterback. So what he thinks does matter when it comes to Michigan. So anyway, let's get into this Sherrone Moore story and this gigantic mess.
Welcome back to Local 4 Plus, everybody. At 7:30, right on the nose, in our top story this morning is a big one: the firing and subsequent arrest of Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore.
So much has happened just in the last several hours. We are live right now at the Washtenaw County Jail, where we are waiting to see if Sherrone Moore will be released this morning. The arrest stems from an alleged assault and investigation. Our Shante Passmore is at the jail with everything we know.
Good morning. A major development coming from overnight from a Michigan insider who is now reporting that Sherrone Moore is detained in protective custody in a mental health institution. And now this revered football program finds itself caught up in this major headline. This morning, we are learning explosive details surrounding the now former head football coach. We can confirm that Moore is in Washtenaw County Jail due to an assault investigation. His run-in with police came just hours after he was fired as the head football coach yesterday. We have also confirmed Pittsfield Township Police are now handling the assault investigation. And it's really important to note here, Moore has not officially been charged with any crime. This new twist comes after the university confirmed to Local 4 Moore was fired over a relationship with a staffer. Who that staffer is or what their role was with the team has not been released. Meanwhile, a Michigan insider posted this on X, citing reliable sources, writing in part, this employee presented irrefutable documentation about Moore's conduct to U of M leaders. The president and regents had seen enough, and Manuel fired him.
It's clearly a severe situation, a serious situation. And Sherrone Moore, man, he was given a job that he probably would otherwise not have gotten. As Jim Harbaugh's assistant, both Jim Harbaugh and Warde Manuel, the athletic director, believe that he was the guy for the job. But it's a lucky break from a huge break. And here he has squandered all of it. And on top of it, you mentioned the pragmatic question, which is what's going to happen with the coaching search. There are like 10 or 15 openings already. I think maybe more like 20 by now. So the coaching carousel has already long since begun.
Yeah, this is a big mess. It sounds like the employee or the young lady probably, there's only two people that could turn over irrefutable evidence. And that would either be Sherrone Moore or the person involved. And it sounds like that's what happened. That they got sideways and she turned over the evidence, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, we got to fire this guy. And my understanding, that gentleman you just heard said this has been rumored for over a year. So this has been something that's been out there for a long time, and it just finally came to a head, so to speak. And he's being detained, and it sounds like he's being investigated for a possible assault and things like that. It's a bad situation. And most people know who the young lady is. It's on X, but I'm not going to show that until it's totally confirmed. I'm just going to leave that to the side, but most of you, if you look at X, you know, or at least there's a high likelihood. Now, all this is going to play out. We're going to find out everything, probably find out this goes way deeper than we originally thought. And you got to realize for Sherrone Moore, he'd already been given two chances. All right, he got in trouble for recruiting over Cheeseburger Gate. And then he got in trouble over the whole Connor Stay and sign stealing saga. And he's actually on a one-year show cause. So it's not like he can just go get another job, although I think that's going to be the least of his problems. So this would be the triple whammy, and this is obviously the worst one. And this is the type of cheating they won't tolerate at Michigan. And I don't know that there's that many Michigan people that are that upset about letting him go. They don't like this whole mess, which is very embarrassing for the university. Of course, Moore is just, he's wrecked his whole world over just a really bad decision. But they're going to be looking immediately for a coach. And several big names have popped up. Obviously, you've heard Kalen DeBoer. John Gruden now is being talked about. It says John Gruden floated as head coach candidate for major program. And Dave Portnoy put out his short list. And as you can see, Gruden's on top of that list. And again, Portnoy is a huge donor at Michigan and probably their most out front guy that loves Michigan. So he put him number one. Of course, Saban's a no-go. Lanning, everybody puts Lanning. Jeff Munkin, Clark Lee of Vanderbilt, Kenny Dillingham. Dillingham's always on the list, and then Deion Sanders. So he's got Gruden as number one, and Gruden is available. Now, the other person that everybody's talking about is Kalen DeBoer. Now, of course, DeBoer is not super popular at Alabama. Let's just call it like it is. He's not. He's just not. And it's because, first of all, he's not Nick Saban. He lost 4 games last year. He's already lost 3 games this year. That's about as many as Nick Saban lost over a 7-year period. So there's a lot of pressure down there. And you saw how things got when they lost to Florida State the first game of the year. I mean, they wanted him gone. It was brutal.
This is a football nightmare, brother. I mean, it's clear this guy is just a substitute teacher that's got no control over the class whatsoever, Paul. This guy's got no control of this program. It's all lip service, brother. It's all lip service. It was bad enough that I had to go on Maury Povich last year before the nation and say that Vandy was my daddy. That was bad big enough. But now there's a part 2 to Legends football nightmare. I just got my ass run over by the Gus bus. The friggin' Gus bus just ran my ass over. Where's the pride? Where's the passion? Where's the friggin' tradition? The pride of wearing the damn A.
So DeBoer is probably feeling that heat and thinking, this is an opportunity where he could just basically move. And it's a great job. You're in the Big Ten. You've only got to win 1 or 2 games a year, and you're in the playoff because the rest of your games are a piece of cake. So that would be a lot less pressure on him. And even if you get beat by Ohio State, you can still easily get in the playoff. So you don't even have to win that. So the pressure would be much, much less on him. I don't think the Alabama people would be that upset. There'd be a few that like him, but most of them don't because, again, you can't follow Nick Saban.
Like rat poison.
And you need to be the next guy after the guy that follows Nick Saban. That's the position you want to be in if you're going to take Alabama. Now, if there's one thing we know, Lane Kiffin can't stand being knocked out of the spotlight. And Sherrone Moore walked over to Kiffin and said, hold my beer, because he knocked him totally out of the saddle. So Lane might be thinking, well, if DeBoer leaves Alabama, that's the place I really want to go anyway. He was the offensive coordinator there. I'm sure Nick Saban would probably sign off on it. He could just do the old switcheroo to LSU like he did. Look, he left Tennessee after 1 season. What's going to stop him leaving LSU after 1 week? I mean, it'd be the most Lane Kiffin thing ever done. And Ole Miss would be over there just roasting marshmallows. They'd be like, oh, you upset LSU? Are you? You upset? We hate it for you. So Kalen DeBoer, I think, is definitely a prospect, and it would make sense for him to leave given the circumstances. And then Alabama could get the next guy, and maybe they'd take it easy on him a little bit. And they could find a good coach. That's one of the top 5 schools in the country as far as coaching positions. And Michigan's top 10 for sure, with a lot less pressure. I know that sounds crazy. You think it'd be a ton of pressure at Michigan. Not compared to Alabama. And SEC's going to 9 games next year. Kalen DeBoer is fully aware of that. I mean, their permanent opponents are brutal, so it might be an opportunity for him to exit if he loses a playoff game, which is probably going to happen. Alabama is not playing anywhere near the level they were at the first of the year. A lot of it has to do with injury, and a lot of people think that Alabama is much softer than they used to be. Now, look, it's just not the same world we're living in. With NIL and all that, it's like, Nick had all the backups. He had the starters that were 5 stars, and he had the backup 5 stars. You can't do that anymore. 5 stars are gone if they're not getting to play. They can go get money somewhere else and start. So why hang around? So I don't think it's fair to compare him to Nick Saban, given the circumstance. That's why Nick retired. He saw the handwriting on the wall and said, I don't want any part of this. He missed the old days when he could, control the players and say, oh, if you leave me, you're sitting out for a year, and I won't sign off on it. So I think DeBoer's a definite possibility. After that, you're probably looking at your usual suspects. And look, the NFL's a possibility for Michigan too. People have talked about John Harbaugh. That'd be the Harbaugh connection. Jim can't come back for 10. Well, he could come back. Crap. NCAA wouldn't do anything. What are they going to do? They don't have any teeth anymore. They got defanged. So why don't they just bring Jim back? Oh, that would be interesting. But anyway, that's what's going on. This Sherrone Moore thing, it's only going to get more complicated, and more stuff's going to come out. It's just a matter of time. People are starting to talk, and especially in the Michigan side of this, they've known about this for a while. These rumors have been rampant all through Michigan, and it just so happened it came out after they lost to Ohio State and right after National Signing Day. Go figure. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, and boom, hit that button right there. Will not cost you a dime, help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video, YouTube. Thanks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay. This Michigan.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?